So come 2024, we're going to be heading into another general election. Even the ANC's own research indicates party support could well drop below 50% for the first time. Research group Ipsos has just completed a survey. It too suggests the governing party is heading for historic lows at the next polls. Well, I'm joined now by Ipsos Director Marie Harris. Marie, thank you so much for joining us. So talk to me about your survey, because methodology is so important. Who did you survey? How did you survey? When did you survey? How many did you survey? And who did you do the research for?
Sally, we surveyed a total of 3,600 South Africans all over the country. They were randomly selected to form part of the interview. And just to explain that a little bit, random doesn't mean that you just grab anybody off the street. It's actually a very systematic process. You allocate, according to population figures, a number of interviews to every province, and then within the province you work through the different types of settlement: city, large town, small town, village, rural, and you identify sampling points. Then in the vicinity of the sampling point, again with rules that we don't have time to talk about now, there are 3 interviews done with males and 3 with females. In a household, you list all the adults, and then the computer decides which one you talk to. So that's how people are selected. The interviews are done face-to-face in people's homes or under a tree, close to the home, and it is done in their chosen language. And as I said, it's face-to-face, it's registered, all their answers are registered on one or other device, either a laptop or a tablet or electronic device, so that you can download the results every night and have the results quickly after the interviews were done. These interviews were done from the middle of May and June, middle of May to end of June this year, and were conducted with or by trained Ipsos interviewers. We then had this whole lot of interviews, South African adults 15 years and older. We filtered out those who are too young to vote. Obviously, it is very interesting to look at their results, because they are the voters of the future. But for the moment, they are filtered out, and we look at the 18 plus results, 3,459 people that I can share results with you tonight.
All right. So what are the key findings?
Well, there are actually very interesting findings. One of them is that, as you said in your intro, the ANC now polls consistently below 50%. We had that in the local government election last year. We had it in the survey we did December, January this year, and now in this one. 42% is the current figure. However, at this stage, I need to say that we're talking about everybody that's eligible to vote. So South Africans 18 years and older. The DA polls at 11%, EFF at 9%, Action SA at 3%, IFP and Freedom Front Plus both at 2%, ACDP at 1%, and then they're 4% to say they're not registered. I actually think they're more than that. And then we have 22%, which is a fifth of the population, saying they will either not vote, or they refuse to answer, or they really don't know who they would vote for. So it's really, you know, that thing that we spoke about last year already, this uncertainty, this despondency about politics, about political parties, that's not going away at the moment.
Yeah, very interesting. So the ANC and your research, I mean, yes, let's face it, we are 2 years away from the elections and lots changes in that time. So we have to, to put that clause in. But it is a historic drop in support for the ANC at this rate. Did you get to understand the main reasons why?
Yes, but then you have to look at other questions to explain the main reasons. And I will share some of that with you. For instance, only 12% of South Africans are saying at this stage that things in the country are going in the right direction. It's really scary.
Only
just
12%?
More than 1 out of every 10, 12%. It doesn't mean that 88% are saying it's going in the wrong direction. But still, 41% are saying it's going in the wrong direction. And then the rest, 47%, so a huge number of people are saying they're uncertain, they're undecided, they're not sure, they don't know, because there's so many things happening and they can't quite, get clarity about where things are going in the country. That, combined with the very dire economic circumstances in the country this year, I think we didn't come out very well after COVID. I think the government handled the COVID thing very well, but after COVID, the things that are now happening is not to the advantage of South Africans.
Marie,
so this whole cost of living thing is an issue.
Yeah, I mean that's a very important point. I want to ask you two very quick questions. We don't have a lot of time. To what extent is leadership and who's running the ANC impacting people's decisions in your survey?
It is an important point, but still, if we look at leadership answers, or who do you think should lead the ANC, and how many points out of 10 do you give a leader? Cyril Ramaphosa is still at the top of the pile.
So, okay.
It is a little bit lower than what it was last year, but among ANC supporters, he is still the most important leader.
Interesting. Talk to me about what you're seeing in the movement around opposition parties, because of course if the ANC indeed does end up under 50, we're going to be talking coalitions at national and at provincial level. DA at 11%, EFF at 9%, Action SA, New Kids on the Block for the national elections, 3%. What surprised you there? What did you find interesting there? And particularly as we're seeing sort of quite high-profile resignations from the DA at the moment, for example.
Yeah. I do think that the opposition parties are missing a great opportunity at this stage because, as we all know now, the ANC is not doing well. But the opposition parties can also not get their act together to really win voters over. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they perhaps do not always talk about the issues in the country. They, a lot of them say everything the government does is wrong, whether he does it or doesn't do it or whatever. I do think that opposition parties need to play a far more positive role, have alternatives. Present yourself as a realistic alternative. Have plans for things like unemployment that can work. Then people will start supporting you. So there's a lot of it's not going to happen without opposition parties doing something about it. And to a large degree, I don't think they address the issues in the country.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That's a wake-up call, if ever I heard one, for all parties polled. Thank you so much, Marie Harris. She is the director of research group Ipsos. Their research, done with over 3,500 people, sort of May to June this year, shows that the ANC could be heading, if the elections were held right now, 42% of the vote, DA 11, EFF 9, and she says only 12% of those people that they spoke to face-to-face feel the country is heading in the right direction.